Let's watch Donald Trump cry. Let's watch him fucking cope and cry on Fox News.
President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris squaring off on the debate stage last night, meeting face to face for the very first time. It was a heated debate. Less than 2 months until Election Day.
Joining us right now on the phone to react.
It was a much more honorably run debate, but this was incredible. I mean, everything, so many things I said were debunked, totally debunked, like Charlottesville, I have a list of 7 different things, and she could say anything she wanted, everything, every time I spoke, and my stuff was right, they'd correct you. I thought it was terrible from the standpoint of ABC. They're the most dishonest, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's crying about the referees, which is when you know you fucking lost, even if you claim that you didn't. Because if he had won, he'd be like, "Oh, it was great." You know, shouts out to ABC. They did a great job. You know? It's just very obvious that you didn't do a good job and you recognize it. And now you're trying to portray yourself as actually doing fine. Yeah, and the reason why he's praising CNN is because they didn't fucking do any moderation and they didn't do any fact checking. I personally am a fan of fact checking. They should fact check Kamala Harris as well if she fucking goes off the hinges in the same way. They should have fact checked Kamala Harris when she was like, oh, mass rapes were happening on October 7th, for example. Of course, they would never do that. Let's be fucking real, right? But in terms of like the one aspect of this conversation, where she could have gotten fact checked is when she said the bloodbath line. Okay, that's it. That's the only time where Trump has been like kind of taken out of context. That's it. They're not going to do a mass rape fact check. Don't be ridiculous. And also, ABC only fact checked Donald Trump when he went crazy. Okay. There weren't any on October 7. As it stands, this does not meet the fucking standard of genuine reporting. Investigations have been conducted. There is one primary witness, and that wasn't even on October 7. There's one primary witness that is a victim of sexual assault, and it happened under captivity. Okay? The New York Times' own reporting on Screams Without Words does not meet the same standards that the New York Times has in terms of reporting. Okay? Supposedly, the Charlottesville, both sides are fine, taken out of context. No, it's not. One side were fucking neo-Nazis. He tries to claim that, like, when he said there are very fine people on both sides, that actually he meant, like, you know, the peaceful protesters on either side. It's like, yeah, dude, the peaceful protesters on one side were fucking Nazis. Like, they were saying Jews will not replace us. You know? The fuck do you mean? No, they were not very fine people. That's not a contested point. The only point that is contested that Kamala Harris used in terms of like her line of attack against Donald Trump that they didn't like fact check or kind of let her get away with was when she said, you said it was going to be a bloodbath. That's the only thing that she said that actually was taken out of context. Donald Trump was obviously using embellished language, but he wasn't talking about like fucking actual violence. He was talking about how the economy is going to be fucking destroyed. Or, yeah, it's just, like, that's it. And even then, that still tracks with everything else that he said that is incredibly violent. In terms of like the moderation being unfair or the debate was absolutely rigged against Donald Trump, you're fucking delusional, dog. The debate would obviously not be unfair if Donald Trump wasn't regularly fucking lying. What kind of pathetic baboon bullshit is this where it's like, no, you don't understand. You don't understand. I want the debate to not be fact checked. Like, okay, I want my candidate to lie to me. Okay? That's all you're saying in this situation. The debate was 100% rigged against Trump. It was like 3v1 with ABC totally siding with the other candidates. They kept coming at him, and the moderators didn't even try to hide their bias. But honestly, Trump still held his ground and came out on top. They thought they could gang up on him, but he handled it like a true gentleman. Dog, if you might be too far gone, you know, you might be too far fucking gone for us to be having a normal conversation with you. If you looked at last night's performance, that even Republicans were like, yeah, that shit sucked. Even Donald Trump himself technically recognizes that it fucking sucked. That's why he's crying about the fucking mods here, okay, on Fox News. You're out of your dang mind. If you think Kamala won that debate, you're just being biased and not paying attention. Let's be real. She didn't have anything solid, and the media was practically cheering her on. Anyone saying she won is either not seeing the clear picture or just being dumb about it. I know, man. Yeah. Is this what Republicans think we sound like? I don't know. Like, I say this as someone who is incredibly critical of Kamala Harris to a degree where liberals get outright mad at me. They get ass mad. They get super fucking pained. Anytime I talk about Kamala Harris, they're like, wow, God forbid you say anything mean about my perfect fucking presidential candidate. Okay. Trump never accepted he lost the debate. You are faking it. Yeah, dude. Look at Donald Trump's conversations after the CNN debate where he cumstered and dumpstered Joe Biden, who failed on his own, really, but still, versus the way he's talking about this debate, you fucking dingus. God, you people are so stupid, man. You people are impossible to fucking reckon with, okay? There is no way I can reason with you. You are delusional. You are living in an alternative reality, dude. You can't see this shit right in front of your fucking eyes. Fuck. Yeah, oh, Donald Trump didn't accept he lost. Yeah, obviously he's not going to be like, yeah, I lost, dumbass. Why the fuck would he say that? That's why you have to look at what he said after CNN, where he objectively destroyed Joe Biden so fucking hard that he had to drop out, okay? Versus this debate, crying about the mods, saying like, I saw a Twitter poll 20 minutes after the debate that said I won, so I guess I won. Like, you're fucking delusional. Yeah, that's a good point, too. Trump won't even accept he lost the fucking election. Bro, if you think that laughing at his points is winning, sure, buddy. His points are made up. No matter how hard you try to believe in your fucking little peanut brain that Haitian migrants are eating cats and dogs, it's not real. It's made up. Okay? Sorry, buddy. You are engaging in collective hysteria. 70% of Trump supporters thought he won. That's 30% thinking he lost. Like, how do you do that badly with your own base? I know. Hold on. But the people in Ohio say the pets thing is real. No, they are. No, they're not, dude. No, they're not. Okay. You're gonna show me here. This is what this dumb fuck is talking about, by the way. Here, I'm gonna show you this video without context. Okay. People in Ohio also say Bigfoot is real. There you go. I guess Bigfoot is real now. We've decided Bigfoot is real because some people in Ohio said it's real. Okay? This is what you're talking about. Let me show you something. Okay? I'm just going to show you a video without context. Don't spoil it. And then I'm going to give you additional context after it. Okay? Hold on. Here's a video from a Springfield City Commission meeting in Springfield, Ohio. Let's take a look.
I was at the head of the anti-Haitian immigration march earlier this month. I'm sure the Honorable Mr. Rob Rue recognizes me, considering he supposedly knew of our action before we even arrived.
He's a literal Nazi. He marched with swastikas.
First of all,
Okay, she's spoiling it. Yeah, he is a literal Nazi. This man is a literal Nazi. So people can say whatever the fuck they want. You have to still look at the facts. Because if your pet was stolen, for example, the first thing you probably would do if your pet was stolen by a Haitian migrant would be to call the cops. So if the law enforcement officers in the state of Ohio, in Springfield specifically, are not saying that there's people reporting that their pets are being stolen and eaten by Haitian migrants, then yeah, I don't think I'm going to fucking listen to this Nazi dickhead who is a literal out and about Nazi, okay?
I would like to dispel the myth that you knew of our march and intentionally had no reaction or made no forewarning about it as
So one Nazi scum in Ohio means that you can't trust all people from Ohio? You think everyone in Ohio is saying that Haitians are stealing their pets and eating them? Okay, let's look at another guy that has said that people are stealing the pets in Ohio, cats and dogs in Ohio. Because he's not the only one, right? You said people in Ohio are saying this. Well, let's look at another wonderful, wonderful guy, okay? Here, Benny Johnson posted about it from our favorite Tyler Oliveira.
Don't wave at me, you sorry fucking sand monkey.
There was Haitians in a white van driving around the neighborhoods, collecting cats, skinning them and eating them.
In my opinion, they're worthless. Bunch of worthless fucking sand monkeys.
Do we think these guys are credible? Or do we think that they might have, I don't know, another vested interest in fabricating this fucking story? Find him someone from Ohio that denies it to blow his mind. Why do conservatives love fucking AI art so much? It's so weird. Video shows an Ohio woman accused of killing and eating a cat. She's not an immigrant. Yeah. The video of the cops fucking arresting a woman who's like obviously insane was spread on Twitter a couple days prior to the debate. That's what sparked the people at the Haitian migrants in Ohio are eating cats conversation. The woman was not Haitian. She's just black. She's a black woman. Obviously, having a mental health episode. I can't believe that under normal circumstances, if everyone was just like even a little bit more normal, if everyone was like marginally like 3% more normal, this would not be a story. We'd be like, what the fuck are you saying? And move on. And many people do say that, for the record. The majority, the broad majority of Americans look at this and they're like, dude, what the fuck? Come on now. Remember what I talked about. Remember what I talked about in terms of like permissible racism and misogyny. Okay? The smart racists, I know that sounds oxymoronic, recognize the need for dog whistles. Because when you go above a certain point of white supremacist sentiment, you come across as patently unlikable. Okay, you come across as repulsive with your white supremacist takes. Okay? To even other people who are, you know, who also share similar values. You know, white people that fucking lock their doors when they panic when they see a black person walking towards them. That's the type of racism that is like there's a level of white supremacist sentiment that you can point to for people like that are going to be on board, okay? But even those people are going to be like, oh, black people are eating dogs and cats. They're going to be like, oh, I don't know about that. That seems a little fucking too much. Do you see what I'm saying? You probably don't, because you're too stupid to recognize this, so it doesn't matter. Okay? Republicans over the past 8 years have collectively deluded themselves into thinking that their positions are actually more popular than they are. This is the reason why they are out and about with their racist sentiment, not realizing that like that kind of messaging comes across as incredibly fucking repulsive to most normies. Anyway, also from Springfield, J.D. Vance used his son's death to spew hate against Haitians. Yeah, I saw that.
Politicians, Bernie Moreno, Chip Roy, J.D. Vance, and Donald Trump. They have spoken my son's name and used his death for political gain. This needs to stop now. They can vomit all the hate they want about illegal immigrants, the border crisis, and even untrue claims about fluffy pets being ravaged and eaten by community members. However, they are not allowed, nor have they ever been allowed to mention Aiden Clark from Springfield, Ohio. I will listen to them one more time to hear their apologies. To clear the air, my son, Aiden Clark, was not murdered. He was accidentally killed by an immigrant from Haiti. This tragedy is felt all over this community, the state, and even the nation. But don't spin this towards hate.
They're so fucking shameless that they caused a grieving parent to come to the fucking Springfield City Commission meeting to speak out against the Republican Party collectively weaponizing his son's death to win fucking racist ass arguments. Did you see Ortega's comments on your Instagram? Goddamn. No. Who's Ortega? Lay it on me? That's not real, dude. There's no fucking way. No, you're insane. No. Hasan, I wanted to know your opinion on something. Do you think you could be friends with someone who doesn't share the same political views as you? Yes, of course. I am friends with a shit ton of people who don't share the same political views as me. Link not sending, but someone here sent it. Yeah, I don't think this is real. I think you've been debated. Run before he bans you. I'm gonna ban him. Why is everybody being weird as fuck? So much hate in your IG comments. What the fuck? Let's continue.
In order to live like Aiden, you need to accept everyone. Choose to shine, make the difference, lead the way, and be the inspiration. What many people in this community and state and nation are doing is the opposite of what you should be doing. Sure, we have our problems here in Springfield and in the U.S., but does Aiden Clark have anything to do with that? Did you know that an 11-year-old boy could be passionate about gardening, that he could haggle for a better price at a yard sale? Did you know that he researched different cultures to better appreciate and understand people that he interacted with? Did you know that one of the worst feelings in the world is to not be able to protect your child? Even worse, we can't even protect his memory when he's gone. Please stop the hate. I said to Aiden that I would try to make a difference in his honor. This is it. Live like Aiden. Thank you.
It's crazy. The modern Republican Party has become openly disgusting monsters, and this is further evidence of that. And if we were a normal society, we wouldn't let anybody get away with this shit. Okay? The fact that you have a grieving father, come out and be like, don't speak on my fucking 11-year-old son's death like this. And there were people who literally in this chat even being like, oh, did you see the fucking dad wished that his son was killed by a white man instead of a Haitian migrant? That's what someone said in the chat earlier today. How indecent of a scumbag do you have to be? He's saying, do not fucking dishonor my son's memory by turning him into your own fucking political project to do harm to others. Once again, I repeat, Republicans have lost the fucking plot. They are utterly deranged. And because of the way that echo chambers work online, they're stuck in their own hug boxes thinking that other people are not repulsed by this freak-like behavior. They are. The issue, however, is that for those who are already in the circle, for those who are already invested in the Republican narratives, they're getting increasingly more insane. There's no cultural reset. There is no check to this kind of repulsive behavior. And every day that the Democrats don't openly showcase this and talk about how dangerous this is, for how divisive and racist and un-American this rhetoric is, and how insane Twitter has gotten, that feeds into the conspiratorial nature of the Republicans all around, especially the permanently online Republicans. We are galloping towards a really, really scary place. Okay, we're kind of there already for many reasons, for many issues, but this is just utterly incomprehensible. Detective Chud, says the insane guy. This ain't good, man. This ain't good. This is real bad.
Opinion, the most dishonest news organization, and that's saying a lot because they're all essentially really dishonest. But I thought I did a great job. It was 3-on-1, and I thought I did a great job. Now, we sent you the polls, but every single poll last night had me winning like 90-10. We had C-SPAN. At one point, it was at 80-20, and I don't know how it finished. That was late last night, so I have no idea. But it was at 80-20. I told that to Brett Baer, and we sent him a lot of polls, and we sent you a lot of polls this morning. And every single poll had us winning by a lot, despite the fact that it was an unfair debate, obviously, and it was a 3-on-1. And that's okay. I've had worse odds in my life. I've had it before, but never so obvious. A lot of people are very angry about it. You have corrupt news organizations. You have a lot of bad people. It's amazing in that business. In your business.
Yeah, Mr. President, we kind of expected it because when you look at Media Research Center, they said 100% of the stories covered on ABC about Kamala, 100% of the time was positive. 93% of the time when they covered you, it was negative. So it was infuriating to watch them fact check you and not her when she brought up IVF, when she brought up Project 2025 several times, and when she brought up Charlottesville. Here are some of the lies that she said about you. Listen.
A detailed and dangerous plan called Project 2025 that the former president intends on implementing. Couples who pray and dream of having a family are being denied IVF treatments. If Donald Trump were to be reelected, he will sign a national abortion ban. And what did the president then at the time say? There were fine people on each side. On that day, 140 law enforcement officers were injured, and some died. Donald Trump, the candidate, has said in this election there will be a bloodbath if this and the outcome of this election is not to his liking.
And the bloodbath, you were talking about the economy. It's a term that's used.
That's it. That is the only one that was massaging the truth. Okay. That's it. He did use the term bloodbath, but he wasn't talking about like actual violence, even though there are plenty of instances where he has talked about real, actual political violence. You know damn well. Oh my God. Shut the fuck up, dude. Goddamn Trumpers, dude. Undecided voter on yesterday's debate.
Yeah, at the start of the debate, I was leaning Trump. In 2016, I voted for Trump as well as in 2020. And as the debate continued, I really started to lean toward Trump. I entered the debate with an open mind, and I really wanted to hear some of Kamala Harris's policies. I just wanted to listen. I was a complete blank slate and an open book. But every time Kamala Harris talked, I just wanted to hear more Donald Trump. This morning, I'm still undecided. I have yet to mail in my completely filled out ballot for Donald Trump, but it is sitting on my counter. When the door closes to my apartment, I wonder where the hallway has gone.
That's a good one.
A lot when people are talking about a bad economy. What's your reaction?
By the way, going back to the bloodbath take, in comparison to the actual severity of the lies that Donald Trump told versus that one instance that requires the moderators to fact check Kamala Harris, it's not even on the same level. Like it would be ABC overcorrecting in an effort to present themselves as like truly biased or truly unbiased. That was the expectation. Okay. Like the idea that like if they fact check, they're on that front, and like making it seem like that, using Donald Trump's words against him in an unfair representation is nowhere near at the same level of just like straight up lying about an entire group of migrants eating fucking cats. Okay? Like that is crazy.
Why didn't the moderators correct her?
Because they're dishonest, and because I think ABC took a big hit last night. I mean, to be honest, they're a news organization. They have to be licensed to do it. They ought to take away their license for the way they did that. Bloodbath was referring to the economy. Everybody loved the term because as soon as they heard the word, it's sort of a vicious word. But referring to the economy, they have created an economy. Bloodbath was the word that I used. And it was fine in that context. And they were trying to make it sound like there was a riot or something, and it was a bloodbath. IVF, I was a leader on IVF. The IVF, which is fertilization, I was a total leader on that. When I first heard about it, like right from the beginning, I was one of the leaders on it, and the Republican Party has been a leader on it. She tried to say it was just the opposite.
When he first heard about IVF, like this isn't this isn't like a new thing, man. Oh, when I invented IVF, actually.
The whole thing with abortion, what he said, I mean, it was incredible. I think he corrected me 6 times. And each time I was right. I believe each time I was right, didn't correct her at all. And she was saying these things. She was using like Charlottesville. She was using Charlottesville, and everybody, you take a look at Laura Ingraham. She did it incredibly. She had it totally debunked. She said that, in fact, it makes it angry. She gets angry when people hear about Charlottesville, when they use that. Because what they did is they stopped and they didn't put the following sentence in. And when they put the last sentence in, when it was all put together, what I said was absolutely perfect. And ABC knew that. Everybody knew that, frankly. I think they lost a lot of credibility. But regardless, look, the polls are saying that I won that by 80-20, 90. We have one here, 92-7, and I sort of believe that's right. I thought, look, I've been told I'm a good debater. I think it was one of my better debates, maybe my best debate. I think. I don't know. That's why I'm disappointed in this guy, Harold.
It's crazy to me that he's still. Why are they saying Charlottesville was a lie? He's trying to claim that he was simply talking about the peaceful protesters on both sides, but the issue is, the peaceful protesters and the not peaceful protesters on one side were literal fucking Nazis who were openly saying Jews will not replace us and shit like that on the fucking streets of Charlottesville. So obviously, when you look at the context of what he was talking about, it's still completely insane. You said that the fucking Nazi protesters were very fine people. Okay? Like, you cannot look at a fucking Klan rally or a neo-Nazi rally and be like, well, there's some cool people there. You can't do that. And then expect people not to go, that's insane.
You're putting what you're calling the alt-left and white supremacists on the same moral plane.
I'm not putting anybody on a moral plane. What I'm saying is this. You had a group on one side and you had a group on the other, and they came at each other with clubs, and it was vicious, and it was horrible, and it was a horrible thing to watch. But there is another side. there was a group on this side, you can call them the left, or you've just called them the left, that came violently attacking the other group. So you can say what you want, but that's the way it is.
On both sides, sir, you said there was hatred, there was violence on both sides.
Well, I do think there's blame. Yes, I think there's blame on both sides. You look at both sides. I think there's blame on both sides, and I have no doubt about it, and you don't have any doubt about it either. And if you reported it accurately, you would say.
Neo-Nazis started this. They showed up in Charlottesville to protest.
Excuse me, they didn't put themselves down as neo, and you had some very bad people in that group.
Excuse me, they didn't put themselves down as neo-Nazis. It's even worse. It's even fucking worse. He's like defending the neo-Nazis, be like, no, they're not, excuse me, they're not neo-Nazis.
But you also had people that were very fine people on both sides. You had people in that group, excuse me, I saw the same pictures as you did. You had people in that group that were there to protest the taking down of, to them, a very, very important statue and the renaming of a park from Robert E. Lee to another name.
The context of it makes it worse because it starts off with him defending the neo-Nazis and saying that the real people that started shit were the anti-Nazis. Many of you probably forgot how this shit worked because back then, there was this genuine sentiment. Were you streaming at this point? Yes. There was this genuine fucking sentiment. Oh, I wasn't streaming back then, but I was covering this shit at the Young Turks. Okay. I was not serving 3-minute ad breaks at the top of the hour. I, however, was still covering these stories. Back then, I was still a right-winger. I remember that was the first speech where I got the idea he was on our side. Okay, you were a little bit more than a right-winger then, Chatter. Jesus Christ. But yes, a lot of far-right neo-Nazi motherfuckers actually did go, that's our guy because of this. When you were watching Young Turks, not Charlottesville? Yeah, when I was at the Young Turks, I used to make videos about stuff like this. I was 11? God damn. I've been breaking Chatter's brains since they were 11. Chatter went from Himmler to Hasan. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. How was the context of what Trump said worse? Explain the very specific facts, and we can't read the comments because they are going too fast. How does the context of the speech make the facts worse? Use specific facts. Charlottesville was a Unite the Right rally created by open neo-Nazis, okay? Like actual neo-Nazis. They were protesting the removal of a Confederate general's statue, okay? A Confederate general who fought to preserve slavery. Slavery is, chattel slavery especially, but slavery across the board is morally repugnant. Use facts, not your opinion. What? My opinion? Like, with the exception of what I just said about slavery being morally repugnant, everything else I said was facts. Unite the Right in Charlottesville was a rally put together by neo-Nazi groups. Okay? These groups were also openly demonstrating with tiki torches and polo t-shirts and khakis where they were on camera saying Jews will not replace us, blood and soil, you know, Nazi propaganda. Now, unless you yourself are directly a Nazi and embarrassed about this, you should probably look at this and go, yeah, that was really fucked up. Okay? This is not my opinion. This is just the facts.
It's some little black asshole behaving like a savage, and he gets himself in trouble, shockingly enough. Whatever problems I might have with my fellow white people, they generally are not inclined to such behavior, and you know you got to kind of take that into consideration.
He's one of the organizers and an out and about neo-Nazi.
When you're thinking about how to organize your society.
In Oklahoma City.
Okay, so exactly. You have to go back to Oklahoma City to talk about a white act of terrorism,
Elliot Roger,
right?
Dylan Roof.
Okay, so now you've managed to name 3 people, and I'm pretty sure Elliot Roger wasn't explicitly white, by the way. But the thing is, you remember the names of white bombers and mass shooters, okay? Yeah. Can you tell me the name of all 19 hijackers on 9/11 off the top of your head? You can remember Dylan Roof's name. You can remember Tim McVeigh's
white
name.
People were capable of violence.
I didn't say capable. Of course we're capable. I'm carrying a pistol. I go to the gym all the time. I'm trying to make myself more capable of violence. I'm here to spread ideas, talk, in the hopes that somebody more capable will come along and do that. Somebody like Donald Trump, who does not give his daughter to a Jew.
So Donald Trump, but like more racist.
A lot more racist than Donald Trump. I don't think that you could feel about race the way I do and watch that Kushner bastard walk around with that beautiful girl, okay?
Can you talk a little bit about the right adopting the politics or the political style of the left?
We don't have the camaraderie, we don't have the trust level that our rivals do. And that camaraderie and trust is built up through activism, and that is one of the tactics that we're adopting.
We're here! We're gay! We fuck the KKK! We're here! We're gay! We fuck the KKK!
So it was a problem, but Trump said there was good people on both sides. There were no good people on the side of the neo-Nazis unless you are a neo-Nazi and you want to defend the neo-Nazis. Okay? That's the facts. If you say, can you give me the facts and not your opinion? Okay? That is the facts. I am a firm and committed anti-fascist. I do not believe in fascism. I think it's morally repugnant. I think Nazis are fucking losers. They're bad people. They are not very fine. And anyone that looks at a neo-Nazi rally and says, well, there are very fine people on both sides, is also a fucking Nazi, okay, and can suck my dick. Now, luckily for us, every single person, every single normal person recognizes this, okay, and have moved on. You, on the other hand, are trying to still relitigate this issue because you are a dumb fuck.
Well, no, George Washington was a slave owner. Was George Washington a slave owner? So will George Washington now lose his status? Are we going to take down, excuse me, are we going to take down statues to George Washington? How about Thomas Jefferson? What do you think of Thomas Jefferson? You like him? Okay, good. Are we going to take down the statue? Because he was a major slave owner. Now, we're going to take down his statue. So you know what? It's fine. You're changing history, you're changing culture, and you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists, okay? And the press has treated them.
No, there wasn't. There you go. This is not a defense. This is not the defense that Donald Trump thinks he's launching. If you think this is the reason why there are very fine people on both sides argument was a mistake for, or fake news in the eyes of the broader population, you're wrong. If you go to a Nazi march and you march next to Nazis, you are a fucking Nazi. You are no longer a very fine person. Okay? That's it. Here, let's watch Christopher Cantwell crying, by the way.
I do not want violence with you, all right? I'm terrified. I'm afraid you're going to kill me. I really am, all right? So, just let's do this however we need to do it. You know, if I got to go to jail today, you know, it won't be the first time, all right? I don't want to. I don't think I should. I think I honestly believe that I've been law-abiding and I've been engaged in violence. I have. There's no question about it, and I've done nothing to hide that. But it was done in defense of myself and others, and I would not have done it for any other reason. If I was a violent guy, you would have heard about it by now. Everybody in their mother wants to ruin my life, okay? And if I wanted violence, it's not a difficult thing for a guy like me to find, okay? So, yeah.
That's Christopher Cantwell, also known as the Crying Nazi. I too am crying right now because I forgot to run the 3-minute ad break at the top of the hour. And it's now past 14 minutes, but I'm running it now. Odd? Dude. Okay. I love Ankh. I suspect I didn't even hear it, and I suspect his stroke game must have been on point. I haven't even seen it. I haven't heard it. Ankh is in phenomenal shape. Okay. Come on, bro. Be for real right now. Listen, he's great. He was growling. Why are you thinking of that, Freaky? Bro, people are saying he was growling. Anyway, let's continue with 9/11.
Look, everybody should be very angry at how badly they've run this country. Millions of people are floating into our country. Many of them should not be here. They're criminals, many criminals coming in, many terrorists coming in, people coming. They're emptying their jails into our country. They're emptying, think of it, they're emptying their mental institutions. People that are mentally ill are being dropped into our country. And these two people, and it's both of them, they allow it to happen. What they're doing is terrible. I saw your report yesterday in Ohio, with Springfield, Ohio, and Aurora. If you look at Colorado, Colorado, these thugs from Venezuela and Aurora have taken over. People from Haiti, I guess, have come in illegally, totally come in illegally into our country, and
Do you think you made that point last night?
Ohio.
Do you think you made that? Do you think you made that point last night that you believe the border is directly affecting all these cities and all these towns?
Oh, I think I made it twice or maybe even 3 times. In fact, I said, I wonder if I'm saying this is too much. How can you say it too much? They've allowed 21 million, I think is the real number. It could be more than that. 21, that's bigger than New York State. They've allowed 21 million people to come into our country. Many of these people are criminals. Right. And by the way, those countries are being emptied out of their criminals, and their crime rates are way down. Their prison populations are being dumped into the United States. Their populations in prison are way down. Their mental institutions, their populations are way down. And it's all over the world. It's not just South America. They're coming in from the Congo and Africa. They're coming from all over the world, the Middle East, Europe, Asia. They're coming in from everywhere, not just South America. And they're coming in at numbers you've never seen. They're literally destroying our country. These people have no idea, or maybe they do. The only reason they can be doing it is because they hate our country. They hate our country.
Yeah, I mean, when you compare the border numbers, the terror watch list suspects under you, there were 11. Under Kamala Harris, 375. Now, foreign policy did come up at last night's debate. Listen to this soundbite, or our audience can listen to this, and we'll get your reaction on the other side.
If she's president, I believe that Israel will not exist within 2 years from now. Look at what's going on in the Middle East. This would have never happened. I will get that settled and fast, and I'll get the war with Ukraine and Russia ended. If I'm president-elect, I'll get it done before even becoming president.
Well, I will tell you, I agreed with President Biden's decision to pull out of Afghanistan. Donald Trump, when he was president, negotiated one of the weakest deals.
Dude, anytime I hear a Republican talk about fucking Democrats, I'm like, oh, fuck, I wish. It's like, bro really said Kamala Harris is a Marxist who wants to defeat Israel, okay? Like, I can't even imagine, and wants to give everybody health care. Kamala Harris wants to give everybody government-assigned health care, is a Marxist, a radical Marxist, and wants to defeat Israel. It just makes me more mad. I'm like, damn, dude. Could you fucking imagine? I wish. That'd be so sick. Nevertheless, the Israel proportion of the debate was a dick riding Olympics where each candidate tried to outflank one another on who is going to ride it harder. Okay? Yeah, there's a good someone in the chat made a good point. If she's a Marxist but also copying Trump's positions, does that mean Trump is a Marxist? Well, if you ask MAGA communists, then yes. Trump is the only real Marxist in America, actually. Everyone else is phony. Dude, I talk to normies all the time, and let me tell you something, okay? Normies are genuinely oblivious that there's even any kind of like pro-Gaza sentiment happening. Because a lot of normies are just like invested in the media narratives, and that's it. They just like don't pay attention to any of the polls and shit that I talk about. So when I talk to normies, they're like shocked. Talking to someone about how like there are at least like a couple 100,000 voters, and that this stuff is like Kamala Harris's sentiment on Gaza and not separating herself from Biden is legitimately harmful to her chances of winning Michigan. They were shocked. They're like, what? Really? Like, they have no idea. And that's partially because the media does not cover this at all. It's going to be a real Hillary, Wisconsin repeat come November. You know, it's going to be a real fucking repeat of that where they're like, wait, what? I thought we were doing well. What the fuck happened? Polls keep coming out. Polls keep coming out over and over again in key swing states. The U.S. is too involved in foreign wars and world affairs. Most worry about World War III approaching. That's why Trump keeps repeating that line. That's why not a single fucking outlet covered the pro-Palestinian demonstrations that were happening outside in the streets of Philadelphia during the debate and before the debate. There's an almost complete blackout of this convo. Very interesting.
deals you can imagine. He calls himself a deal maker. Even his national security advisor said it was a weak, terrible deal.
It was a very good agreement. The reason it was good, it was we were getting out. We would have been out faster than them, but we wouldn't have lost the soldiers. We wouldn't have left many Americans behind. They blew it.
You said when you were at the town hall with Sean Hannity, you said a lot of people, you might not like me, but you're safer under me. You have more money in your bank accounts under me. So why do you think our country would be safer under you, Mr. President?
Because I deal with foreign policy. I'll give you an example. Afghanistan, we had a great agreement, but it was agreement subject to them doing a lot of different things. They didn't do those things, and when they didn't do them, we terminate the agreement. These clowns had no idea what to do. They had Milley, who's incompetent. They had Biden, who's incompetent. All of the people are incompetent. Nobody ever gets fired. They don't fire anybody. They let them just stay on, retire, no problem. Milley should have been fired and reprimanded like you've never seen. These people are incompetent. They left billions of dollars worth of equipment behind, yet 13 dead soldiers. They shouldn't have used that airport. They should have used Bagram, which, by the way, they gave up, and they shouldn't have given it up because that's only 1 hour away from China where they make their nuclear weapons. No, they took a good agreement, but the agreement was subject to the Taliban doing things. And remember this, just in ending that, I went 18 months without one soldier killed. I spoke to the head of the Taliban, Abdul, and I said, I had a nice, tough talk with him. Not one soldier was killed in 18 months until that catastrophe happened. It was absolutely, we were running it perfectly. But the agreement didn't mean anything because they had to, in other words, to have the agreement kick in.
It was conditions-based.
They didn't do the things. Who would take the military out first? They're incompetent. They took the military out first. You're supposed to take the military out last. And they left lots of Americans behind. And then they had the worst airlift nobody's ever seen. People falling off an airplane from 3,000 feet in the air. Many people. They are incompetent, and they shouldn't be running the country, and we'll end up in World War III because of these fools.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to Lawrence Jones, who we know you think is doing a great job, and he is. There he is. He's live in a diner. He's also in Pennsylvania. He's in Washington, Pennsylvania. And he's talking to the people. And I think, Lawrence, right, some of the folks in the diner want to ask the president questions.
That's exactly right, Ainsley. Let's bring it out to the people. Mr. President, not a lot from the moderators about the issues last night, but in this swing state of Pennsylvania, these issues are true. Sir, you own a car dealership, part owner of it, and you say, this is your birthday, by the way.
It is.
And what is your question for the president?
Good morning, President Trump. My question is, what are some of the immediate steps that you will take to improve the economy and get us out of this mess that Biden and Harris have left us in?
Right. Great question. The first thing I do is close up the border. People have to come into our country legally. They can't come in the way they're doing now. We have millions and millions of people
They can't hear him, by the way. I don't think they can hear him.
coming in even on a monthly basis, and they're destroying our country, and it affects our economy. The other thing I do is drill, baby, drill. I'd be drilling, and I'd get energy prices, and I'll reduce your energy by half within 12 months. Half. And I hope that Lawrence, if you're listening, Lawrence, I hope you go and do a little shout-out poll. And I don't know the people there, but I love the people there. I can see it. But why don't you do a shout-out poll who they thought won the debate last night? It would be great.
You know, we always do the poll at the end, Mr. President.
Yeah, I wonder who these people thought won the debate last night. This is probably 50-50, you know?
I think you.
Why don't you do it while I'm on the? Yeah, but I'm on the phone now.
Okay. So, but Mr. President, this young lady right here, she's concerned about the future of the country. She's concerned about the grandkids, and she's concerned about the stress on these parents. Ma'am, what is your question for the former president?
I would like to know what kind of programs or policies he could implement to reduce the parental stress with parents having to work 1, 2. I have family members who are working 3 jobs trying to make ends meet right now.
Yeah.
Spending more and more.
Oh, super easy. I'm going to kill Venezuelans. What? That's right. That's right. They're eating the cats, the Venezuelans and the Haitians. They're eating the cats, and then they're going to eat your children. I'm going to kill them before they kill your children.
More time away from their families.
That's right. Well, we have big,
What are you going to do on day
saw-
one, Mr. President?
Right. Child care is a number one priority, and I have no choice because I have a daughter named Ivanka, and maybe you never heard of my Ivanka, but I have a daughter named Ivanka, and that's all she talks to me about is child care for the people, and she's the one that got it started, and Marco Rubio helped a lot, and a lot of the Republican senators, we put in a great child care, and we'll be expanding that, and that will help you a lot.
So, Mr. President, we got a young voter right here. Not.
Oh, so nothing. Okay, got it. That's cool. So no policies. Dude, come on, man. You're running for president. Be fucking serious, dude. Be for fucking real, dog. You don't have like he doesn't even give a fuck enough to like actually come out with any policies, dude. It's pissing me off. Fuck, man. I hate this country so much sometimes. This is one of those moments where I despise my fucking fellow American citizens where they're just like don't demand more from their elected representatives. I despise the Republicans that are just like, yeah, I don't even care. The policies are fucking, they don't need to exist. I just like Trump on the vibes alone. And the same goes for Democrats who just like do not have any expectation from Kamala Harris whatsoever. They just don't want Trump. So they're like, nope, no matter what they say or do, it's good. Like the fundamental basis for theoretical democracy relies on extracting concessions from your elected representatives. This is, we might as well not call it a democracy at that point. If you're not going to make any demands, and if you're not going to, and if you're just going to be like, yeah, no demands, all right, well, still voting though, don't really care.
All the young people are voting for Kamala Harris, but you have a concern about the media and cutting through the noise there. What is your question for the former president?
Hello, President Trump. I'm just curious on how you're going to combat all the fake news and break through some of the noise to get the undecided voters to vote for you this November.
Well, by doing a show like this,
what are you going to do?
It's a great question because you really do it by doing a show like this with Lawrence and the group. You have to get your word out, and you don't have a fair media. You have a
the undecided voters watching fucking Fox News at 7 a.m. Eastern time. Those are the undecideds.
Very liberal biased media. I have no idea why. I actually have no idea. Think of it. They don't want walls. They don't want borders. They don't want good economies. The things they want are destructive to our country. But I will tell you that it's very important if you're doing what I'm doing, you have to do shows like this. That's another thing. Kamala doesn't do any shows. She doesn't do interviews. She doesn't talk to people. She doesn't do anything like that.
I like that. Like Trump is like, yeah, you got to do shows like this by going on fucking Fox News. Like, come on, dog. Like, what do you mean? Like, you're going on Fox News. You've been interviewed by Elon Musk, and like the most contentious conversation you had was with fucking Theo Vaughn. Why is Kamala not going on Theo Vaughn?
And that's not fair to the public because they don't know what they're getting. But they saw last night what they had. They had a rigged show with somebody that maybe even had the answers. I mean, I'll be honest. I watched her talk, and I said, she seems awfully familiar with the questions, and you get pretty good at that stuff after a while. But when I saw how totally rigged that was, I take a look at it, and I watch, and I say, you have to get out there. And one of the things I did is I said, let's do this show at, like, what time is it? 6:30 in the morning. And it's an honor to do it. But you have to go out and you have to do the shows. You have to go out and do media. And some of the media is honest. It's not all dishonest. That's the good news. But much of it is. I'd say it's close to 80%. And I mean seriously dishonest.
So, Mr. President, the final question. We're in Pennsylvania. We cannot let this interview end without talking about fracking. And there's a lot of people.
There's something really funny about Donald Trump refusing to prepare, flexing that he's not preparing, and then being mad that Kamala Harris was prepared. Like, dude, obviously the interview questions were the expected questions. Like, they're not going to ask you about, I don't know, what your fucking favorite seasoning is to put on chicken. Okay. That's like, they're not going to ask you unexpected questions. They're going to ask you about, like, they're going to ask Kamala Harris, like, what do you think needs to be changed about the economy after the past 4 years? Do you think that America is better off now than they were 4 years ago? Like, what do you think is going to happen? Like, that's a normal question that you should predict is coming for you, and then, you know, figure out the best way to message around that. For Kamala Harris, a really solid way to message around these tricky questions was to oftentimes just dagger Trump. Give like a little bit of an answer, then hit a fucking light jab in Trump's direction, and then have Trump fucking flounder like a goddamn fish out of water for 30 seconds to 60 seconds.
Concerned about what happened on.
At least she could speak, but her president goes down. They did a palace coup on the president. She comes out and she does fracking. So I say to the people of Pennsylvania, you know what you have with Trump, and I'm with you. I went to school in Pennsylvania. I have my friends in Pennsylvania, and I'm a fracker. And that's 500,000 jobs in Pennsylvania and a lot of your income. Pennsylvania would be devastated if they take that away. She will
There is not 500,000 jobs in Pennsylvania for fracking. What the fuck is he saying, bro? That is... God damn. Bro, this guy... Bro, that's like nationally there's 500 jobs in fracking, okay? Despite what fracking execs want you to believe, the industry has little impact on state job numbers. In 2023, it accounted for 19,452 direct and indirect jobs. Pennsylvania's natural gas sector supports 123. Dog, this is United Shale Advocates. You just sent me a PR. You just sent me, like, this is literally worse than just having, like, British Petroleum's own website share this data. The total number of people employed by the hydraulic fracturing services industry in the U.S. as of 2023 is 61,000. The number in Pennsylvania for direct and indirect jobs that pertain to fracking is what is it, like 20,000? What's really crazy about it is that even this fucking Shale Insight, Marcellus Shale Coalition, a part of the United Shale Advocates organization, a think tank, even they're not fucking saying 500,000. Even they're saying 120,000, which is a lie.
Obviously take that away. Oh, she'll take away drilling in Texas. She's going to take away. They ended Anwar, the biggest oil site in the world that Ronald Reagan couldn't get in Alaska. They ended it. I got it approved, and they ended it. And nobody can.
Why don't you fact check Harris? I have. I also promise you, I hate Kamala Harris more than you. Okay? I promise you. You're fucking stupid. Your hatred for Kamala Harris pertains to her not being Donald Trump, and it's scary for you. This, like, person that you think is like a Marxist, okay? I promise you, you are afraid because you think, oh, the Democratic Party is scary. They're going to like make me gay or whatever the fuck you think in your mind. To be fair, they're probably racist so they hate her more. Maybe. Most likely.
Can believe they did. We had the biggest site in the world. They ended it in the first week in office. Think of that. Yeah. They cut the Keystone Pipeline. They will end fracking. Keystone Pipeline, one of the biggest pipelines in the world, they ended it in the first day or the first week that he was in office. They will end fracking because she's not a fracker, and they'll also take away your guns. They will confiscate your guns.
Mr. President, thank you so much for talking to the folks here in Pennsylvania at the diner. I'll send it back to the couch because I know you have a prior commitment to go visit the heroes at 9/11 Memorial.
Well, I want you to take that poll, though.